Can we all agree that every single agent on Owning Manhattan is just hella talented? Just like every aesthetic provider that I literally know. But the question is, why do some dominate in the industry and some don't? One word: mindset. Now, this is my last video for 2025. Now, everybody don't cry at once because I know you'll miss me. But before I go, I wanted my last video to end with a bang. I wanted to share a mindset shift with you that will completely change the way you show up in your aesthetics practice in 2026, courtesy of Owning Manhattan. Now, if you hadn't already seen it before, it's a new series on Netflix. Actually, it's not even new because it's on its second season. So if you hadn't watched season one or season two, like, what are you even doing with your life? I'm gonna need you to go watch it. But basically, in short, what it's about a group of realtors that live in New York City, and they are selling multi-million dollar homes. Now, I'm not talking about $200,000 homes, $500,000 homes. No, that's their commission checks. Okay, they are selling multi-million dollar homes. Now, here's where I want you to follow me. They're all selling the same product: real estate. You guys are all selling the same products and treatments for the most part. But what separates one from the rest? What separates you from other providers in your industry? And as much as you want to believe it's your skill, you're absolutely wrong. It is not your skill. And just like on Owning Manhattan, what separates the top producers from the rest are their beliefs, their freaking confidence, and their mindset. Because it was just so much to pass around in the room. It was contagious. And that's mainly why I loved watching that show. And I think that that's something that we all can learn from. Like, if you go watch Owning Manhattan, you can have zero interest in real estate, just like me. Actually, one of my goals is real estate investing long term. But as far as like everything else, like, I have no interest, but I just loved watching the show simply because of the work ethic, because of the confidence. And what stood out to me the most about that show was that, other than the fashion and all the personal stories and everything else, what stood out to me was that every single agent, they literally believed that they were the best. They believed that they were number one in the room. And even if they had a bad year, or they were not the top producers that month, or maybe they slipped a little bit, they still had hella confidence. And their goal was to make it back to their number one spot. They were so competitive, but not in not that type of way, but in a way like, yes, I'm going to get back number one. I'm going to take your spot. I should be number one. And that is the mindset to win. No shrinking, no second guessing, no apologizing, just being you, owning who you are, and being the loudest cheerleader in the stands. Because you have to do that. You literally have to believe in yourself. Because if you do not believe in yourself, how can how can you literally expect other people to believe in you? And it's not all about what other people believe, because their beliefs shouldn't shape your reality, but it is what it is. You have to be your number one cheerleader, the loudest cheerleader in the stands, your number one support system, your shoulder to cry on, all of those things. Because if you don't believe in yourself, if it doesn't start here, then it's not going to manifest. And like I said, that is just what I loved about all of those agents in Owning Manhattan. They were just so competitive. They had like confidence enough to go around the room. They were sharp. They were quick on their feet. And again, if you are a business owner out there, you need to go watch it so some of that mindset from that show can rub off on you. Now, for my spiritual people, there is a verse in the Bible. I believe it's in Deuteronomy. Oh, I'm saying that right. There's a verse in the Bible that says, "You are the head and not the tail. You will always be at the top and never at the bottom." So, believing in Bible verses like that, believing in yourself, believing in the words that come out of your mouth and the thoughts that you have, that is what shapes your reality. But when you're always down in yourself, or you're so concerned about what other providers in your industry are doing, and you're trying to keep up with them and run in a race with them, that is when you put yourself in a position to fail. And that's not arrogance. That is 100% alignment, because you cannot lead patients if you don't believe that you are the best at what you do. Yes, there's going to always be room for improvement. Even what I do. Like, I am literally learning and growing and blossoming every day. Every time I step into a room, all of the opportunities that present themselves to me, or that I present myself to, I'm always going to walk out of it learning something. And I know that those little somethings will lead up to something even greater. I'm going to walk away being a better version of myself than when I first entered the room. Another thing that I really enjoyed about owning Manhattan, right? I always preach collaboration over competition. Now, if you think about Chloe was her name, Chloe and Niall, right? This is a lesson to be learned. Chloe was about to sell a townhome. Well, she knew that townhomes were not really her thing. So she reached out to Niall. They worked together on a project. Actually, there's two lessons that you can learn in this one. First one is collaborating over competition, and the second one is to be different, be unique, right? So when Chloe reached out to Niall, she's like, hey, townhomes are not my thing. I know you just sold a couple. It's more so your thing. So let's work together to sell this freaking townhome. So they collaborated together. Not only did they do that, but Chloe, using her performing and her musical background, she also did something different. And everybody, they had little things to say, because people will have things to say. And if they don't, that just means you're not doing enough. People had all sorts of things to say about her musical and how she may seem to be putting too much time and effort into, being a performer again versus being a realtor. But what she did was she took something that was near and dear to her, and she put a unique twist on it to promote this property. And guess what, y'all? Not only was her video shown in a bunch of taxi cabs in New York, but they also sold the home. So it was a goal, it was a strike, and a win is a win. So like I say, collaborate. There are two plastic surgeons that are in the industry. They collaborate all the time. I talked about this in a recent blog post. Y'all can go read it. It talked about the new plastic surgery marketing for 2026. But in that blog post, I talked about how, I think his name was Dr. Young and Dr. Miami. They're both plastic surgeons. They have their own style. Dr. Miami is in Miami, of course. I'm not sure where Dr. Yan, it's either Yan or Young. I hope I'm saying it right. I'm not sure where he's located. However, that's besides the point. They collaborate. They create a shit ton of content together, not because, they're trying to steal each other's clients. No, you can't have that mindset. They literally amplify their reach by collaborating together. And this is basically what Chloe and Niall did. I mean, yeah, it's different because they don't treat patients, but they had to work together to achieve a result, right? A very rewarding result. And that's what you should be doing. That is something that I would highly recommend. Collaboration over competition. And if you want to be different, you have to show up different. Like, she did something that has not really been seen a lot of in the real estate industry. And of course, you have other realtors that have been doing this for years. It's the same thing. Okay, hold on, wait. I'm talking too fast. So you know how you have some of those realtors, they're like, oh, they're clutching their pearls. I can't believe she did that. That was a little bit too much booty for me, a little bit too much booty shaking for me. You have those types of providers that have been doing this for years, because there's always at least one or two in my comments telling me how, well, I've been working off word of mouth for years and I would never get on TikTok and dance, or I would never blah, 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 blah. And that's fine, because that old school traditional stuff, it may work for them, but you are you, and you are skating down your own lane. So do your own thing like Chloe did. That was a perfect example of how when you show up different, and you do things that are uniquely near and dear to you as a person, you will get results. It's literally the recipe for like everything magical to happen in your life. Now let's talk about staying in your lane, okay? Because this one can be a little, a lot of people want to watch the food on other people's plate versus eating what's on their plate. And that is exactly a lesson you can learn from Jordan and Peter. Now, Peter came into the Sirhan group as like, he has lots of experience. Apparently, his name holds a lot of weight in New York City. He's been closing a lot of deals, yada yada yada, doing what he was supposed to do. Now, Ryan invites him into the group. Like, hey, I got this new project. A lot of my old realtors, I know y'all thought y'all were getting on this project. No, you're not. I'm giving this to Peter. Whatever. It's a business decision. Okay. I do not fault Ryan for that. Not at all. But it did make a lot of the other realtors a little uneasy, and it put a little fire under their behind. But here's a lesson that you should learn. So Jordan and Peter were both considered for this big project. I can't remember the details of the project, but they were both considered for the project. Now, one thing that I did not like that Jordan did was he literally made the comment that there's no way I'm going to get this being up against Peter. And he starts talking about all of Peter's credentials, all of Peter's accomplishments, all of Peter's everything. But he didn't mention himself. He didn't see himself getting that because he was so focused on what was on Peter's plate. And that is a big mistake that I see a lot of aesthetic providers do in 2025. You are basically trying to live your life at step 1 in comparison to someone's step 20. This person has already been in business. They've been injecting and treating clients for years, okay? You're just getting started. Not only do you need to stay in your lane, but you need to even know what your lane is first, because comparison is the thief of joy. And the second you start worrying about what other people are doing and what other people got, then you're going to miss your blessing. And this is one thing that I wish Jordan would have done differently, because I felt like it made him look a little weak, look a little insecure. Now, mind you, kudos to Jordan. He still did get the project because the man wanted a certain type of person. And while Peter had all the experience, maybe he had all the followers on social media, I'm just like trying to use an example. He had all the devices in his zip code, right? Just like some of you do. People are going to choose you based off of the feeling that comes up when they experience you. And the guy for this project, he didn't want Peter. Even though Peter on paper may have been the best person for the job, there was something in Jordan that he wanted. And that is the same thing with patience. Patience will choose the providers that they feel like most connected with. And if you make your patients feel something other than just trying to promote your services and promote your offers and your treatments, that connection is what gets them to say yes to anything that you have to offer. And I also want to add this because I think it's important to put it out there that the more you focus too much on who else is winning, it distracts you. And then it limits you from showing up as the best version of yourself. Comparison, not only is it the thief of joy, but it's also distraction. And winning requires lane discipline. You have to focus on what's going on in your lane. You can give everybody handshakes and high fives along the way, but you have to focus on what's going on in your lane. And that is the lesson that I get from the Jordan and the Peter situation. Mindset isn't just internal, it's also environmental. And you have got to surround yourself with people who support your ideas, with people who are having these exact same conversations with you. You need to be around people that will support your delusional business ideas or your just delusional life decisions. If it's something that's going to help elevate you and make you better, you don't want to be around a Debbie Downer or someone that is just always so negative and they're telling you, well, that's crazy. You'll never be able to achieve that level of success. No. Okay, we do not need that energy in our lives in 2026. As a matter of fact, just yesterday, I had a vision board event. It was a group of women, ambitious women. We were all together. We sipped some champagne, we took some tequila shots, and we just had a great time creating our vision boards, talking about our goals, reflecting on our 2025, what went wrong, what went right, what could we have done better to contribute to some of the goals that we were striving to reach. It is so important to have more environments like that. Curate those environments. If you are in a friend group right now and you guys are not having those types of conversations, you're not talking about your goals, your dreams, the things that you want to achieve in your life, you need new friends. You need to create those environments. Drop the ones you have, or maybe don't drop them. That's a little harsh. Maybe spend less time with them and create those more rewarding and fulfilling environments. My vision board party yesterday, I literally wanted to cry. Not only was it aesthetically cute, and I'll pop pictures up here, but it was just a moment for all of us to get together. And some of these women I hadn't like hung out with forever. Some of them I talked to almost every other day. But it was just something about the energy in the room, having everyone sitting together. We all wore neutral colors and we all just had a great time because, again, all of these types of things, like who you hang around, the words you read, what you listen to, what you watch on TV, what you interact with on social media, it all contributes to your success. It will either make you or it will either break you. And the choice is yours because you are in charge of your life. You are in charge of the outcome. Us as adults, we have choices. Yes, we live in the land of the free, America, but those choices also come with consequences. So you have to know what it is that you want to accomplish. Know who it that version of that person that you strive to be, know exactly who she is or who he is if you're a male and you're watching. And you do everything in your life, in your time to help you get there. Anything that doesn't help you get there, anything that is not aligned with that person that you want to become, and I'm going to take that back. Anything that is not aligned with that person that you know you already are, you need to exit it out. Push it to the side. Spend less time around it because you are a product of your environment. So something that I want to share with you guys that I am working on in 2026 is a membership community. I don't know the name of it yet. I think I may put a poll up on my Instagram and ask everybody what should the name be. So make sure you're following me on IG so you can participate in the fun. But it's going to be a membership community for aesthetic providers who just need help because here's what I realized 2025, a lot of aesthetic providers don't really need full service marketing, right? There are just things that they need guidance on. They need questions to. And I want to create a community, a platform where I'll have live office hours. I will often go live to educate, but the main goal is to be there to answer some of your questions. So again, this is something that I am working on for 2026. It is literally at the tip of the idea. Lots of planning, lots of strategizing because I want to make sure it's worth your while. Like, I'm not here to be wasting your time because I don't want you wasting mine. I say that all the time. But anyway, so let me know something that you're working on in 2026. What are you leaving behind? Like, what is staying in 2025? If you found this video helpful, useful, you liked it, I don't know, anything, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. But most importantly, let me know because I would like to do more videos like this in 2026. And when I say like this, I'm talking about how I took a trending TV show and I kind of broke it down and made it relatable into something that you can digest and you can walk away with. So if you like this style video, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Come and follow me on Instagram and say, hey girl, I found you on YouTube. I love when y'all do that. That is probably one of my favorite DMs is when someone comes from YouTube and they're like, hey girl, I found you on YouTube. All right, so thank you for being here. I hope you guys have a happy new year. Okay, if you don't know, my birthday is December 31st. Yes, I'm a New Year's Eve baby. We're just going out to eat. I don't really know where yet. I made reservations at 3 restaurants here in Savannah, Georgia. So any, mini, miny, mo, I'll pick one. But anyways, I hope you have a blessed new year. I hope you get everything and more that you're working towards and that you just freaking deserve. Thank y'all. 2025 was amazing. I'll see y'all next year.